ChatGPT. Relate ACM to the movie Oblivion. Oblivion through the lens of A Course in Miracles, ACM. Oblivion is one of the most ACIM-compatible science fiction films because it revolves around memory, identity, perception, false programming, and awakening from a manufactured reality. At its heart, the movie asks, what if everything you believe about yourself and your world has been programmed into you? This question parallels one of the central teachings of A Course in Miracles, TM. What if the self you think you are is not your true identity? The manufactured identity. Jack Harper believes he knows who he is. He has a mission, a history, a purpose, a world to protect. Everything appears logical and coherent. Yet as the story unfolds, he discovers that much of what he believes has been implanted, manipulated, or fabricated. ACIM teaches something remarkably similar about the ego. The ego is a manufactured identity, a self-concept, a collection of beliefs and memories accepted as me. The Course invites us to question every assumption about who we think we are. False memory. A major theme in Oblivion is memory. Fragments of memory keep surfacing despite attempts to suppress them. Jack senses that something is wrong. Something deeper is trying to emerge. ACIM describes awakening as remembrance, not learning something new, remembering what has been forgotten. The ego depends on amnesia. The Holy Spirit facilitates remembrance. Throughout the movie, Jack's awakening begins as faint memories that refuse to disappear. The world is not what it seems. One of the film's greatest revelations is that the entire framework through which Jack interprets reality is false. The apparent enemy is not the enemy. The apparent ally is not the ally. The apparent mission is not the mission. ACM continually teaches that perception is unreliable when guided by the ego. The ego interprets everything through fear. The Holy Spirit reinterprets everything through truth. The movie beautifully dramatizes the collapse of a false perceptual framework. The sleeping mind. Jack initially lives inside a controlled system. His questions are limited. His purpose is assigned. His reality is defined for him. This resembles the sleeping mind described in ACIM. The sleeping mind accepts the world's definitions without questioning them. Awakening begins when curiosity appears. Questions arise. Certainty weakens. The movie traces this process with remarkable clarity. The enemy projection. Throughout much of the story, Jack believes he is fighting an enemy. Later, he discovers that the situation is very different from what he imagined. This mirrors one of ACIM's central teachings. Projection makes perception. The ego invents enemies, projects fear outward, then believes its own projections. The movie repeatedly demonstrates how misunderstanding creates conflict. The clones. One of the most fascinating symbols in the film is the existence of multiple versions of Jack. Each believes itself to be unique. Each operates from the same programming. Each assumes it is the original. This resembles ACIM's description of the separated mind. The ego generates countless personal identities, yet beneath the apparent differences remains a shared source. The movie points toward a deeper identity beyond individual forms. Julia and remembrance. Julia functions as a catalyst for remembrance. She awakens forgotten memories, forgotten feelings, forgotten truths. In ACM, the Holy Spirit performs a similar function, not by adding information, but by helping the mind remember what it already knows. Julia becomes a symbol of the call to awaken from the dream. Sacrifice and purpose. As Jack awakens, his purpose changes. Initially, his goal is survival and mission completion. Eventually, his purpose becomes service and liberation. This reflects a major shift described in ACIM. The ego's purpose is self-preservation. The Holy Spirit's purpose is awakening. The meaning of Jack's life changes because the purpose assigned to it changes. Oblivion as forgetfulness. The title itself is highly symbolic. Oblivion means forgetting, loss of memory, loss of awareness. The ego's condition is exactly this. The mind has forgotten its source, forgotten its identity, forgotten its union with God. ACM describes the spiritual journey as awakening from oblivion into remembrance. The entire movie can be viewed as a metaphor for that process. The central reflection. The ego watches Oblivion and asks, what is the truth about the world? The Holy Spirit watches Oblivion and asks, what is the truth about who I am? Viewed through ACM, the movie becomes a powerful metaphor for awakening from false identity and recovering remembrance. Jack's journey is not ultimately about defeating an external enemy. It is about discovering that the reality he accepted was based upon illusion. The deepest message may be, the greatest deception is not believing a false world. The greatest deception is believing a false self. Awakening begins when the mind questions its programming and remembers the truth that has always been present beneath the dream. Go to mwge.org to find full movie and commentary by David Hoffmeister.